Yuma! It's me, Elian Habanero, episode 15 of the W.I.L.L.I.W show. Of course, W.I.L.L.I.W stands for Wrestling is Life, Life is Wrestling, and so far this weekend, it has not been a truer point than that. Wrestling is life, life is wrestling, Wrestlemania. Wow, that was probably the best Wrestlemania I've ever seen, and I was not excited going in. So much, so perfectly executed, such great production. I am just blown away, and I know I sound excited, but I'm a little bit sad. Let's talk about it first. AJ Styles, Shane McMahon. What a great match. I can't believe it. Like, that was really well done. Shane really proved that he can still go. He's better than half of the current roster. It was just so well done, perfectly timed. Everything was great. Kevin Owens and Jericho. Also, some of the reversals and counters were so creative. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. Just about everything exceeded my expectations on the show. As far as the women's match, the four-way, in my opinion, they made Nia Jax look really strong. I felt she did really well. Did you see that bump she took on the double suplex? But that match, to me, showed why Charlotte is like head and shoulders above the rest. She carried that whole match. She is just unbelievable. She is probably in the top 3 workers in the world right now. It was just very good. Didn't expect Bayley to win. It was good to see her get the WrestleMania moment. Match 4. What was match 4? The tag. Oh my gosh. Now, that surprise, like, I always expect the surprises to be on the Raw after. The Hardy Boys was just unfreaking believable. When they came out, that pop, they did it so well with the New Day teasing that it was going to be them. And then plus it was a ladder match. Plus they let them win. The greatest comeback ever in history of WWE, quite possibly. It was so well done. So many great moves in the match. I got to see my uppercut from Cesaro off the ladder that I was talking about a couple days ago. It was awesome. The Miz versus Cena. They barely did anything, but they didn't have to. Miz just played it up the crowd so well, and I was not expecting... I thought the Miz would win. Now, I was not expecting Cena and Nikki to win like that. And then I had heard rumors, which I'm not a Ronnie rumor head. I don't really like the rumors. I try and avoid them, but people always show me, or they just come up on Facebook, even if I'm not a part of that group, suggested page that you may like. But they said that Cena might propose. Now, this is something I did not want to see, but when I actually did see it, like, tears got in my eyes. It was very well done, emotional, and I just felt so happy for them. I hope it was real. I hope that she didn't know, and, like, she didn't know that she was going to get proposed to, and it was just very well. Seth Rollins, Triple H, I didn't think it'd be that great of a match. You know what? It was really good. They really sold the knee, although it's like, my knee's so hurting so bad, and then all of a sudden I can do a Phoenix Splash, but it was really well done too. It was just, oh my gosh. And then, what was the next match after that? That's number 6. There was 7. Not Brock Lesnar. Oh, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt. I felt like this and the women's SmackDown match were probably the 2 matches I didn't like the most, but I felt like they knew that going in, so they had the scary bugs and stuff on there, which made it more interesting than I thought it was. I didn't expect Orton to win. I felt the finish. I know it's an RKO out of nowhere. It kind of felt lackluster. I was like thinking maybe they'd have like Sister Abigail come out or whatnot. I feel bad for Wyatt losing the title, but like I said before, he doesn't even really need the title, and Orton is a great champion. But that match was, they did what they could. They worked hard. I'm not saying it was bad, but it just compared to some of the other matches. And then when Brock Lesnar and Goldberg came out, right then I got sad. Because right then I knew Undertaker was the main event, and then I was not happy because I figured this would be his last match. But Lesnar and Goldberg only went about 9 minutes, but they didn't do anything but suplexes and spears, but they had good intensity, and it was what it was. Did they really need them to go another 10 more minutes? No. The outcome everyone thought, Lesnar won. It was good. It added to the show. It was good. And then the SmackDown women's match was better than I thought. I just gotta say, like, I gotta comment, that ramp is huge. Like, some of the fans say to me, because I come out in the Alpine Club and I run around the ring like 6 times, and they're like, you must be so tired before the match even starts. And that is not a very long aisleway. And this aisleway was so big, it was like running an entire football field. Naomi must have been so tired. She danced for like 6 minutes before the match even started. And they did a good thing. They had a couple great spots. It wasn't the greatest match, but it was well done. Everyone did their part, and no one looked bad in it. And then, of course, The Undertaker. Now, folks, The Undertaker is my favorite wrestler. When I was 4, Jake the Snakes got me into wrestling. But then, when I was 8 years old, I first saw The Undertaker on Survivor Series, and I was terrified of him. But yet, it was like a car accident. I couldn't stop looking. That was the first bad guy I ever liked. I just loved him. I didn't know what it was. There was something about him. Like, I even had a couple nightmares about him. But yet I still loved him. And I had, like, these posters that I got out of the WWF magazine in my room. And just when he finally turned face and then fought WrestleMania 8 against Jake the Snake, that was my, like, favorite moment in wrestling. People ask what my favorite match was. At the time, that was Undertaker versus Jake the Snake, my 2 favorite guys. Now, I was so sad. I thought they would have billed it as his last match to capitalize on it. But now, seeing the way it was done, they didn't really have to, because they gave him his ending. I felt like, obviously, the match was sloppy. I didn't expect, like, a 35-minute match out of Taker. He obviously needs to hang him up. I'm sad that he is. Like, you could tell in that match he was just struggling to get through. And what's all the hate with Roman Reigns? Like, it's good that he gets such a good crowd reaction and he gets booed and stuff, but I don't think he has ever worked a bad match. That might have been one of the worst matches he's ever wrestled. And, like, it was just so many Superman punches and spears over and over again. But that's what you have to do when you're telling the story of The Undertaker going in his last match, and you know he would want to do the job to put over the younger generation. You have to do it that way. I was sad. Like, once I realized it was the main event, and then I seen the way they were doing it, like, I couldn't really enjoy it. I just had, like, this lump in my throat. It was just like my childhood was coming to the end. Like, it's inevitable. You gotta let the man go. I don't want him to go, but he deserves to go and rest in peace from the business. The contributions he's made, like 30 years basically of wrestling, if you count the WCW stuff, I don't think it can ever be matched. I don't think anyone can have a career as good as Undertaker did. And it was just a sad thing. I don't think he's going to come out on Raw and do a big thing. I think that was it. I think he's just going to lay the glove down. Like, he doesn't need to do a big speech. Now I'm just wondering, is he going to be like the Hall of Fame guy? Will he actually do some shoot interviews? Or no? Is he just, that's the last we'll ever see of him? I'm excited, but I'm also so sad. But WrestleMania blew my expectations out of the water. I didn't think it would be that great. Like, just so many great matches. Like, oh man, like, I just can't stop talking about it and thinking about it. And now we have Raw tonight. I'm hoping they'll have a couple surprises. The crowd's always crazy. It's going to be a good show. I'm hoping a couple guys will come out. It looks like probably Finn Balor, maybe Dillinger. There's a couple choices out there. So Shinsuke Nakamura, maybe they'll save a couple guys for SmackDown. But it was just well done. I loved WrestleMania, and I love wrestling. That just made me proud to be in this business, and to be a fan, and to be a wrestler. And I think everyone deserves a tip of the cap for their performances. Everyone contribute. I'm having troubles with that word. Everybody contributed, and everybody played their part so well. And just hats off to the WWE. You totally outdid yourself, because the last couple WrestleManias have not even been close to how good that was. Now, tomorrow, episode 16, I'll review Raw. I'll talk about a few other things, but I mean, this show just had to focus on WrestleMania. It's the once-a-year biggest phenomenon in the world, the best sports entertainment extravaganza thing you will ever see, and I'm not a Super Bowl fan. Folks, this has been episode 15 of Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. The W.I.L.L.I.W Show. Remember, like, or you get a leg drop. Comment, or you get a clothesline. Subscribe, or you get a suplex. I'm Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!